Hey guys, this is Bryan with DD214 Transport. Like, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications, and share this video with other brothers and sisters that are looking to do something different. This channel is about hotshot trucking, how you make money, how you lose money. If it's the first time you're here, welcome. You guys go to the Facebook, join the group. There's a lot of good discussions over there, a lot of newbies, a lot of veterans, a lot of guys that's been doing this business for a long time, and they can help you out. I'm also going to leave a link below to the products and services that we use and found to be good, and we recommend them. So click on that link, go through that, and double check that. All right, so now this channel is all about hotshot trucking. How you make money, how you lose money, the travels, the brotherhood out there. If this is something you're looking to get into, then this is the place to be. Now, I've had quite a few people reach out, and they've told me that I have showed the money that can be made. Excuse me. Coffee. Good morning. Have some coffee. That I've showed them that the money I've showed them the money can be made, but I've never really went into what it takes while you're on the road to make that money. And I thought, well, you know, that's a great idea for a video, because you can't just think you get a truck and a trailer, go park on the side of the road, and the money's going to fall in your lap. It doesn't work that way. So we're going to go through some things that I do where I'm making the numbers that I post. So today we're going to be talking about maximizing your income while you're on the road. Look guys, if you're going to be, and ladies, if you're going to be away from your family, away from home, that's no time to take a vacation. That's the time you make as much money as you can make while you're out there. And there's no time, you know, I've told my kids for years, there's no time to dilly nor dally. We got to roll. So let's talk about what you got to have. Well, the first thing you got to have is you got to have a support network, a friends, family supporting you, understanding that you've got a hard job and you're going to be gone. Your friends and family are critical to your mental health. They have to be on your side and supporting you while you're on the road. Secondly, you want to set goals. Before you leave, you need to discuss with everybody, I'm going to be gone 14, for me, listen, I've tried 1,000 different ways here as far as how long I was going to be out. I've tried a month, I've tried a week. You know, you're not out long enough to make any money on a week, and a month was too long for me personally. So I found 14 to 17 days for me was perfect, and that's where I ride. So I let my dispatcher know from the beginning that I'm going to be out 14 to 17 days. Now, so you set your long-term and your short-term, I'm speaking crazy. You set your long-term and your short-term goals, but neither can be an amount of money based. You can't say, I'm going out for 14 days and I'm going to make $10,000. Guys, you can't do that. Don't do that, because number one, you're setting yourself either up to fail or you're setting yourself up to break the law. Don't do it. Now, I'm gonna tell you, my short-term goal when I leave, one, is to get back safely. That's number one. Your most important stop is right here at your house. 2 is to cover all of my financial expenses. That is not a money goal. Understand that. That is a short-term goal, is to cover my financial expenses. Now, on the long term of it, for my long-term goals, guys, I've set a long-term goal as to be able to buy a little piece of property in the mountains and have a little summer cottage or summer vacation home in the mountains, little cabin up there. So that is my personal short-term and long-term goals. Yours will be different. Just do not make your short-term goal an amount of money. Building your team. That's your next thing you got to do, is you have got to build your team. And you're going to see this graph I'm getting ready to post up here. You have got to surround yourself with the best possible people. You have to. It doesn't work any other way. For me, my team is based on me as the driver, my dispatcher, Mila, who sets all of my travel arrangements, my factoring company, and then it circles back to me. And you can see how it all works right here. It goes from me to the dispatcher, to Mila, to factoring, back to me. And that's how you make money. Okay, let me back up. That's how I make money. You may decide to do it differently. All I can do is tell you how I'm making money. If you decide to take it and go a different route with it, then do you, boo. That's all I can tell you. So, one thing you have to realize is that communication in that circle, communication is absolutely imperative. It is the key to success. You have to communicate with your dispatcher. You have to communicate with your travel person. You don't necessarily really have to communicate with the factory, but if you can substitute that with the customer, the broker, whoever you need to communicate with there for pickup and delivery. Communication, guys, that's going to save you in a lot of instances, especially if you're going to self-dispatch. If you want to self-dispatch, that's fine. You can do that. However, that means communication is 10 times more important, because on the backside, my dispatcher communicates my information to the broker, where you're going to be communicating that to the broker and the customer and setting appointments and so forth and so on. So, okay. So, now, let's talk a minute about my methodology. Okay? I coined this phrase. I've been using it for a couple years now, and I've coined this phrase. It's called shotgun LTL. And basically, how it works is that when you get loaded on your head load to wherever you're going, then you aim in that direction and you go out in a V. And you'll see on this diagram what I'm talking about. Just like a shotgun, it spreads out in a V. And you want to be looking for freight within inside that triangle that's going near your location or toward your location. So, understanding that this is how I run freight. Shotgun LTL. This is how I want my dispatcher looking for freight for me. I do not want to go backwards, because here's the example. If you go backwards 100 miles, it takes you 200 miles to get back to zero, to get to where you were sitting. So the freight better pay right, or you don't go backwards. You stay going in that direction, and your dispatcher gets out in front of you and finds freight. Or, you know, I don't know how you guys tend or think you're going to want to drive and find freight, but, you know, do you. I couldn't do it. I didn't want to do it. So shotgun LTL is my methodology as to how I want my dispatcher to run me. Now, something you need to understand is that the freight industry is a live market. It's alive. It breathes, it expands, and it contracts, and it moves. So you may go into one area where the freight is not that good. You want to try to avoid those areas if you can, but if you have to take a not so great load to get out of that area and to get back into a better market, then be willing to do that. I've done it many a times. You take a crap load just to pay the gas to get into the better market. You know, some areas of the states offer better freight than others. There are some areas that are just dead freight zones. You can get into them, but you can't get out of them. If you're trying to do dispatch in-house, you need to realize this. I'll give you a prime example. Is for a Hotshot South Florida, you can go to South Florida any day of the week. You can pick up from somewhere and go to South Florida. And it'll pay good, but you can't get out of South Florida. You're going to have to, you know, take either deadhead out of there or take a crap load out of there to even get out of South Florida. So, you know, I don't even go to Florida. You know, I'll go to Jacksonville, up in the Panhandle, Tallahassee, up in there, but I'm not going into Florida, Tampa, Orlando, down to Miami. No way. So, understanding and having your dispatch understand, and whoever you have dispatching you, whether it's a professional dispatcher or your wife or whoever, they need to understand that not every place you go is you can get into it, but you may not be able to get out of it. So if you, for example, if you take 1,000 miles into Florida and it's $4,000, okay, just these are just numbers, it doesn't mean anything. You go deep into Florida, but then you have to deadhead out. You know, you just cut it in half. Now you're making $2 a mile where you thought you were making $4. So be aware of that. If you have a family member, cousin, or whatever dispatching you, make sure they understand how the markets work. And if they don't, you might want to rethink your situation. All right, so let's talk about that. That's the dispatching end of it. Now, you come on around the circle and you're looking at travel arrangement. Now, because I choose to stay in a hotel, I need someone to get out in front of me and book me a place to stay. Because my philosophy is that my wheels need to keep rolling. I need to keep running. Otherwise, I'm not making any money. When those wheels stop, you're done making money. So, look, Mila does my travel arrangements. She looks for a hotel in an area where I'll run out of time or I made it to my destination, or both, but one or the other normally. And then she'll be finding me the best rate I can get. Guys, you don't need to be staying in an Embassy Suites every night. I tend to stay in a Super 8, a Days Inn, and then you get it on a rewards program. I use Wyndham Rewards. Every few I think it's every 15 days you stay out, you get a free night. Comes in handy. So, especially when you're in one every night. They're also going to be looking, or she's also looking for parking situations, good parking. A way that I can get ingress and egress easily. I'm not having to try to get into a parking lot. So that's another thing. They also look for proximity of food, especially on a 34-hour reset. You got to be able to get food. I never unhook. I just don't do it, and I normally never move that truck over the weekend. I'll either call in or whatever I have to do to keep from doing that. On your 34-hour reset, they want to also be looking for a place that has laundry facilities. Now, one thing I found is, guys, these micro hotel or motels or whatever they're called, the extended stays, no, I tried those. It doesn't work for me. They don't even have coffee in the morning. These are basically mini apartments that people stay in for weeks and days at a time. And I mean, we're there for a day, maybe 2.5 days, 3 days max. So that they just didn't really work for me. Now, your factoring company, you slide down to your factoring company. And I will tell you that my factoring company has opened up the $100 rebate, whether you're a military person or a civilian, first responder, whatever. It's opened up to everybody that goes over there and says DD214 sent me. You'll get $100 back on your first load. It's $100, dude. That's a night and a half in a hotel. So, all right. So once once your load has been delivered, you send the signed bill of lading to your dispatcher or whoever's doing it. I keep saying that because I have a dispatcher, whatever. But then the dispatcher is going to send the signed bill of lading, the rate confirmation, and an invoice to the factoring company. The factoring company then pays the invoice and puts the money in your account. Now look, that is a huge thing. You've got to keep that money rolling in, unless you're just rich and can hang out for 30 or 45 days and wait on your money. This way you keep your cash flow rolling. Okay, so that's my team. That's how I built my team. And again, I want to go back to communication is key. Absolutely key. Dispatch, customers, travel. You have to keep that communication open. All right, so let's talk about why you're on the road. Time management skills. Time management is crucial. You have to manage your time. If you're sitting around in a parking lot somewhere doing something, those wheels aren't rolling. And, you have to use time management to maximize your profits. And as you know, you have 14 hours a day to drive 11. However, you only have about 7 or 8 hours a day to do pickup and delivery. Okay, so you have to be up with the birds and hanging out with the owls, because you got to be there early and you got to be there late. The hours we're going to be dealing with are mainly 7 to 3. That one kills me. I hate that 7 to 3 because it's constantly pushing you at 3 o'clock. 7 to 3, 8 to 4, 9 to 5. Those are normally your customers' pickup and delivery times. Within those times, though, some customers have subsets. Like I had one customer that their pickup and delivery time was from 11 to 2. That was it. They had 4 hours a day that they were picking up and delivering. That was it. So you're having to manage your time, that 11 and 14, to ease through and navigate all of the pickup and delivery times. for the companies and the customers. As you can see on this chart, even though you have 14 hours to drive 11, that little 8-hour P&D, it cuts a huge chunk out of your day, out of the times that you can actually be productive. Because unless you pick it up and deliver it, you didn't make any money. Picking it up, putting it down, that's how you make money in this business. We've all heard that time is money, and never has it ever been so true as in the transportation industry. And if you start your clock too early, you wasted your time. If you get to your pickup or delivery too early, you wasted your time. If you miss your appointment, you've wasted your time. If you don't maximize your clock, and this is a big one, carry that clock as far as you can go. Either you've made it to your destination or you ran out of time. You've wasted your time. You get the point. Here's a couple examples I wanted to go and give you. One thing to realize too is when you're estimating your time, something that I do, and I found it to be very successful. And again, guys, do it however you want. I'm not here to tell you the right way or the wrong way to do anything. I'm telling you how I've been successful. If you deviate from that, then more good for you. Please post below a better way of doing it. But when I'm estimating my ETA for places, okay, whether it's ETA for a pickup or ETA for delivery, I always estimate it 60 miles per hour. Even though the speed limit may be 70, maybe 75. In some places it's 80. But at this juncture, I found at 60 miles an hour in a Hotshot, that's a good average to run, because that allows you time to pull over, adjust your straps. That allows you time to run to the bathroom, get fuel. But 60 miles an hour is how I run my estimates, okay? Now, in these examples I'm about to give you, these are things that have happened to me on the road to where I really had to think about the best way to run these. Okay, so first example, I wrote it down here and let me look at it. It says you finish your run at 6 p.m., 2 miles from your delivery. You can legally run again 10 hours later, and that's at 04. All right? However, the delivery is the first come, first served that opens at 7. Now, I would, in my case, how I handled this was, I was kind of tickled because I got to sleep in, but I would get up and be ready to roll and start my clock at 0700 so that I would arrive about 7:30. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I do that. What I found is that if you start your clock early, and let's say you're there 15 minutes early for first come, first serve, you've already started your clock, you're going to wait 15 minutes. And what I've discovered is that if I'm there when they show up for work, that I end up being an interruption to their routine. So it ends up taking me longer because they're still going in there. They're going to do their routine in the morning. They're not going to stop what they normally do. They're going to go make coffee, go to the bathroom, scratch their head, say good morning, and then they'll get to you. And it's normally about 30 minutes later. So now instead of being able to get in and get out, I've wasted 45 minutes sitting while that 14-hour clock is ticking. So what I found is if they open at 7 and I run in at 7:30, they're already done with all their shenanigans, so to speak, their prep work for the day, and they're ready to take and unload you. And run in, run out, 15 minutes, I'm in and out and gone. So that may be a little tip for you. All right, so example number 2. Here's a harder example to think about. It says your clock will allow you to drive at 10 p.m. and that puts you 6 miles away from your pickup point. Actually, it's a pickup appointment. Your appointment is 0800. What do? Well, think about this. If you run to 10, you can't legally run again until 8. Therefore, you missed your appointment. So what I would do, and what I did, was I drove 3 hours and stopped. I get up and I'm out at 0600 with a fresh 1411, which puts me at the appointment at 08. You got to be thinking about these things all the time. If you don't want to show up to your appointments, especially appointments, not a first come first serve, because you don't know what's going to happen on a first come first serve, but you don't want to show up to your appointments more than 15 minutes early. You just don't, because you're wasting time at that point. If you have a situation where you're going to be really early for the appointment, try to go ahead and maximize that by stopping and getting fuel, getting your diff, whatever you got to do. Maximize that time, then roll in there and get off the clock. So, yeah. Now, the number one thing you have to do is be safe and realize that nothing you ever are going to pick up, put on that truck, or deliver is worth your life or anybody's life or any amount of money. And you got to be safe out there. Check those straps every time you stop moving. Guys, I hope this helps. This is how I roll. This is how I make money. I'm hoping that you'll be able to do the same. I'm hoping that some of this stuff you'll be able to employ and make money as well. I want you guys to be as successful as you can. Veterans, first responders, we love you. Guys, if you weren't, we love you too. But listen, get out there. You can make a good living at this. And it's hard work. You know, it is hard work, but you can make a good living at it. And you can provide a good living for your family. Okay, it's Bryan with DD214. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being around. Thanks for making this channel popular. I'm hoping that it gets better and better and better. Look, guys, do me a favor and share these videos with people so that they too can learn. There's enough freight out there for everybody. All right. Thanks. See you next time.